All bem problem all today.
Aha, keba problem o mente. E wuluta min kono yo woleje e kamera ko nka min fo mole ka jelena ko totobe kolongo kono. Ay sambe fele ay kolombano ja ko dunia danta janne. Abolo le mere totoje. Ay bola be kolongo kono. Abe jio minga be poto do mo kan. A nyako fay sandot kolomba ay dunia. Ako dunia daw mu nyina. Bari moru kunu ningo nimbe bori na be yu yarala. What waya lonne. Wo kono munete. Follow the indoctrination and hakilolu na mindset president kam ne mindset hakilolu be no nyami wala nyenti ko nga sile do e ko nga crack with le mira ani wo kinti wule mo min kananu food aid supply o.
Good evening and welcome to the news at 10 in the headlines tonight. President Jammeh returns to Banjul from the first leg of his annual Dialogue with the People tour to a cannibal-like welcome as tens of thousands of well-wishers lined routes to wave at the first couple. Lawmakers hand over the findings of the Public Accounts and Public Enterprises Committees of the National Assembly to Vice President Jai Sedi. Unrest in rural Senegal, farmers uprooted from their fields by the Wade administration staged street protests to show their anger. And authorities in Guinea-Conakry round up several top military officers in the wake of the armed attack on President Alpha Conde's residence. These stories and much more coming ahead in the news. I am Isa Tudabo. We thank you for joining us. His Excellency the President, Sheikh Professor Alhaji Dr. Yahya Jammeh and the First Lady, Madam Zainab Yahya Jammeh, returned to Banjul this evening after touring rural parts of the Gambia for a period of 7 days. The presidential motorcade left Kanilai at about 2 p.m., but because of the sheer number of people who lined routes to welcome the first couple, the presidential entourage traveled for more than 7 hours before reaching State House. Well, after months of intense scrutiny and the Public Accounts and Public Enterprises Committees, today presented the findings of the committees to the Vice President and Minister of Women's Affairs. The National Assembly delegation was led to Madam Jai Sedi's office by the Speaker, Honorable Abdullah Bojang. Asita Bajan Sar was there, and this is her report.
After months of intense scrutiny of the 2000 to 2006 accounts of the government of the Gambia and annual reports and financial statement of the public enterprises and agencies, the Public Enterprise Committee and Public Accounts Committee of the House of Representatives presented to the Vice President the approved report of their months-long sittings. The report is the Joint Committee's own report of findings, opinions, conclusions, and recommendations on the state of affairs of the accounts of the government, public enterprises, and agencies. In an interview with the Speaker of the National Assembly after meeting with the country's number 2, the Speaker shed more light on their meeting with the Vice President.
The report that was for the welfare of the people, you know, we are representatives for the people, and we have a legislative and both, an overseeing responsibility. And as the Public Accounts and Public Enterprises Committee sat together to look into, agencies and even the central government, we made a report regarding what we have seen in various parts of government and other agencies. And this went along with good sides and also, let me say, non-good sides.
When asked if there are penalty clauses for institutions that fail to comply with the provisions of the Constitution by duly submitting their annual reports and financial statement to the House of Representatives, this is what he says.
We do not have to map out any other thing as a legislative body. Our role is to find out what happened where and say this and this is what you have seen, which is very good and wonderful. This and this is what we have seen, which has a serious shortcoming, and we rebound on the state back as a loss. Now, the central government and executive, this is here. See what is best for the country.
The Speaker went further to remind the general public that the PEG and PAC Committee of the National Assembly is not out to castigate any particular institution, but to perform lawful checks, scrutiny and oversight over those institutions to ensure that the Gambia government and its public service delivery system are all collectively and jointly accountable to Gambians, from whom they derive their powers and on whose taxes and levies they exist. Aissatou Badian Sarr, GRTS.
And still on the Vice President's Wednesday programs, the head of the ongoing Africa Endeavour 2011 communication test exercise, General Carter F. Han, Wednesday called on Madam Jai Sedi to, among other things, thank the government for the hospitality extended to the participating armies and officials. Aissatou Badian Sarr again.
It was a high-profile engagement at the office of the Vice President and Minister for Women's Affairs, as various groups poured into her office for audience. Among them was the head of the Africa Endeavour 2011 communication text exercise currently going on in the country. General Ham was accompanied to the Vice President's office by the Chief of Defense Staff of the Gambia Armed Forces. The General spoke with waiting journalists shortly after their audience with the Vice President on the purpose of their visit.
I expressed to Madam Vice President our sincere appreciation for hosting this recent exercise, which will conclude officially tomorrow. It's been a wonderful opportunity for 40 different nations to assemble here in the Gambia and participate in very important military training. And it would not have been possible without her support and the support of the Chief of Defense Staff and the entire government.
The Chief of Defense Staff also spoke about Banjul-Washington military relations.
We have enjoyed a very, very good relationship over the years, and this Africa partnership has even brought us closer, and not even closer, but it has even brought on board, other partners that on our own we would not have been able to meet. So having 40 countries in the Gambia here for this exercise is a great honor for us, and it has moved our relationship, to another level.
Officials from both sides are optimistic that the staging of the military exercise in the country will not only help strengthen ties between Banjul and Washington military outfits, but will also open up many avenues for future military collaboration, especially in capacity building. Aissatou Badian Sarr, GRTS.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and Gambians Abroad has said that no country can achieve meaningful socio-economic development in isolation. Dr. Mamadou Tangara, who also said there cannot be any development in the absence of peace and stability, made the observation at a joint consultative meeting between his ministry and resident as well as non-resident diplomatic representatives accredited to the Gambia. Famara Fofana witnessed the opening of the forum.
This convergence of diplomats and technicians from the various ministries and institutions is the first of its kind. The consultative meeting was convened to discuss a range of issues vital to the realization of the country's development agenda. The outcome is expected to cement the ties between Banjul and its development partners.
The leadership of the Gambia continues to pursue proactive strategies that are both in line with the needs and interests of its people. Thus, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and Gambians Abroad, among its strategies, will continue to serve as the conduit for interactions between the Gambia and her development partners. This role is emphasized in the Ministry's foreign policy strategy document, which is intended to serve as the blueprint towards achieving the country's foreign policy objectives.
Whilst informing the forum that the Gambia has always pursued a policy of genuine partnership and cooperation for the attainment of set development targets, the Secretary to Cabinet, Sekou Gassama, admitted that recent developments in the world have presented new challenges that call for cooperation.
There is no development in the absence of stability and peaceful cooperation with other nations. Therefore, the importance and timelessness of this consultative meeting cannot be overemphasized, considering the fact that the effects of the recent global financial and economic crisis, falling growth rates, rising unemployment, increase in poverty, malnutrition, has posed challenges to the progress that we have